Also on this call, I've got John from TradeMe, who's an account manager. So if you've got any questions specifically about TradeMe, he's also here to help. Basically, I guess the purpose of this session is to give everybody an overview of TradeRunner, I guess how it works, how to optimize your products so that you have a good chance of selling on TradeMe, and just basically take any questions as we go along. So if you have a question, feel free to either sing out or just put it into the chat window, and I'll get to it when I can. Okay, so just starting out, we'll just have a quick look about how it works. So basically, TradeRunner automates the process of selling on TradeMe. Listings using the products from your store, from your e-commerce store, so whether you're Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce or WooCommerce, it creates listings on TradeMe. The listings are kept up to date, and then any orders from TradeMe get sent back from TradeRunner through to your e-commerce store. So TradeRunner imports all your products from your store, and then once you've imported them, you can choose which products you want to list on TradeMe. You can also make changes to your products in TradeRunner. So for example, you can change the price and the product title. And that doesn't change anything in your e-commerce store, it just has a different price or product title on TradeMe. Listings and inventory are kept up to date and in sync with your e-commerce store via full product syncs and individual product or inventory updates depending on the platform that you're using. So just looking at that, if you're Shopify or BigCommerce, we do a full sync every 7 days. A full sync is basically all of your product information and your inventory. So price, image, description, inventory, type, product title, and that generally happens overnight on a Saturday night. In between, and then throughout those 7 days in between the full product sync, we have real-time updates. So if you change a product in Shopify or BigCommerce, or if you add a product, then TradeRunner gets a notification and we make that change in TradeRunner and then push that change up to TradeMe. So that ensures that all your product data and your inventory is kept up to date. With Magento, we do a full sync every 24 hours, and that usually happens overnight. And then throughout the day, we do 20-minute inventory updates. WooCommerce, there's a full product sync once every 24 hours. Depending on the number of products you've got, you can actually sync it more frequently. You can also do manual, you can also trigger a manual sync from the dashboard, and I'll demonstrate how that happens in a minute. So just kind of looking at the dashboard, and I'll switch to the screen here. You can see you've got products and orders. Now this is a test account, unfortunately, so I don't really have any orders to show you. But essentially what you've got is a view of your total products that we've imported, which ones are listed, which ones are not listed, and then you can clearly see the reasons why these products aren't listed. And then you have your orders, so any orders, you can see on a tracking basis how many orders you're getting through. And you can also see a list of your top sellers from the last 30 days, 7 days, or 24 hours will show as well. And then there's also a retailer insights report that you can click there, and that'll show you how you've been tracking. And then just on the manual syncing that I mentioned just before, you've got 2 buttons on the dashboard. You've got upload to TradeMe and import from, this is a BigCommerce store, so it says import from BigCommerce, but otherwise you'd say import from Shopify or import from Magento. So this button triggers a full sync between your e-commerce store and TradeMe that I mentioned before, so that's all your product information and inventory. And the upload to TradeMe button is used to send any changes that you've made from TradeRunner up to TradeMe. So for example, if you have, and I'll talk about this in a minute, mapped products to some TradeMe categories so that you can list them on TradeMe, then once you've finished mapping, you can click upload to TradeMe, and then those changes, those products will get pushed up to TradeMe. So anytime you really do anything on TradeRunner and you want TradeMe to be updated, you need to click upload to TradeMe, and that will do a sync between TradeRunner and TradeMe. So just moving on now and looking at listing products. So the first step really to list a product, once you have, I guess, set everything up. So you must, so in terms of your actual setup, just quickly, you obviously need to have you need a Trade Me ID, and that you need to have authorized Trade Runner to access your Trade Me account, and you do that as part of the setup process. It will need to be refreshed every now and then. So this one will expire next year. But so you won't need to worry about that until it does expire. So you also need a default shipping method. So that also usually gets set up during the sign up process. And then once you've done that, the main things really are that you need to map products to the Trade Me category so that they can list. So just going to the category mapping, you can map an individual product, or you can switch to the category view and map an entire category. So if I'm just going to map a single product, maybe bangles, I can also search and see if I've got other bangles in there. No, I've only got one. And I can either choose the suggested categories, which are not so good for this test data, or I can choose a Trade Me category here. And it's probably under jewellery and bracelets. So maybe I'll just choose this one and click Save Mappings. Okay, so that's already been mapped. You could also go on and map more products if you need to. So this is a men's shirt. Yeah. So basically, you can select multiple and click Map to the other category, and you can choose them. So clothing and fashion, men's shirts. There we go, and click Save Mappings. So if you want to map an entire category to a Trade Me category, you can do that. It does rely on making sure that your categories that you have in your e-commerce store match up well with Trade Me's categories. So, for example, men's bags or ladies' shoes, they might, depending on whether they're all heels or all flats. So you just need to make a judgment call as to whether or not you want to, and so you can choose the categories again as well if you want to. Okay, so once you've mapped products, then you just need to click Upload to Trade Me, and that'll send the products up to Trade Me, and those products will then list. In terms of blocking products, so if you've got products that you don't want to sell, you've got a few options. So if you go to Products, All Products, and let's say you don't want to list this leather woven belt, you can select that and then click Block All Selected. So that's a simple way to just block one product. If you want to do a bulk block, so if you've got thousands of products and you need to do a bulk block, then you've got this option here where you can just enter SKU by SKU. And to get those SKUs, you can export them, export CSV. So if that's easier, and that gives you a spreadsheet of SKUs to get the SKUs and then use the bulk block. Alternatively, under settings and then administration, there's a section here called product exclusion. So if, for example, you were selling, you didn't have the rights to sell a certain brand in New Zealand, then you can exclude products by these brands, and then just all you need to do is type the brand in here. You can also exclude products by keyword and a title. You can exclude variants as well. So if you didn't want to sell a particular colour or a particular size, or if you've got custom variants, then you can also put those variants in there. And then also there's an exclude on sale products flag here as well. So if you've got products that are discounted in your own store and you don't want those on Trade Me, then you can click that, and any product that has a a sale price less than the RRP. So if your sale price here is less than your RRP, then those products will be blocked from Trade Me as well. So that covers off blocking. Also, if you've got a product that's listed and you just need to end that listing, there is, if you click through to the full product listing page, you've got a couple of buttons here, upload to TradeMe and end listing. So if you want to refresh the listing on TradeMe for a single product, you can click upload to TradeMe. And if you want to end this listing, then you can click end listing, and that will end the listing on TradeMe as well. Okay, now even if you do send products up to TradeMe, we sometimes get some errors back to say, sorry, this can't be listed for a variety of reasons. And you'll see what those reasons are here. Sometimes it's just that the product doesn't have any inventory, or it might be that your images don't meet the requirements that TradeMe have. But you will see the reason why something's not listing here. Okay, so moving on to actually making changes to your products. So we have a concept called product groups. And what you can do is you can create a group of products and you can define it by certain criteria. And then you can use it to increase the price of just those products, or you can set up a specific shipping policy for those products. Excuse me. So I'll go through a couple of examples, but we've got, if I create the shipping one now, so let's say you want to charge a different shipping rate for products that are over 2 kilograms, products over 2 kg. So you've got a bunch of criteria for product groups. You've got price, weight, you can just detail the SKUs that you want to put in the group. You've got categories, so this is actually your retailer categories that you can use, or you can, if you've mapped the products, you can use the TradeMe categories. And you've also got brand names. So usually if you start typing, the brand will come up. Let's see. So they're the different options, so you can choose those if you're going to do it by brand. The same will happen if you start typing for categories. In this example, we're just going to do weight. So if you have the minimum weight is 2 kilograms and create that product group. And then now that we've got that product group for over 2 kilograms, we can attach that to a shipping policy. So I'll talk about shipping in a minute, but some of the other things that you can do with the product groups is obviously change the price. So with promotions, you can create a new promotion. And if you want to, let's say you want to increase or decrease prices. So let's say you want to, excuse me, decrease prices by, let's say, 20%, and you want that to go on forever, then you can leave these fields blank, or you can actually just put a start and an end date. So if you want it to start immediately but finish it on a set date, then you can do that as well. So you can apply a price discount, and in the percent field you can just put 20 in there because you're doing a 20% discount. If you actually wanted to increase the price instead by say 20%, you can put a negative in there, and that will increase the prices instead of decreasing them. Okay, so, or you've got the option to do, say, $10 off, or you can also do a fixed dollar amount. So if you've got a particular product that you want to price specifically, then you can put that option as well. And then here, you've got the choice of include it to all products, apply to all products, or you can use your product group. And I'll use this product group that I created before, which is based on a brand, products to change price, and create that promotion. Oh, that's strange. Product groups. Okay, maybe I'll add another product group. Price change. Okay, so this is a product group based on a brand. I'll just create a new promotion. So if I just want to decrease the price by 20% on all Sass and Bide, There we go. Okay, so I've got here a price change for Sass and Bide, 20% off, and that's happening forever. Okay, so that's changing the price on products. If you want to apply that promotion straight away, you can click Apply Active Promotions, or you can also just go to the dashboard and click Upload to TradeMe, and that will turn the promotion on. In terms of product titles, so the product title on your e-commerce store might be a bit different to what is going to work on TradeMe. So, for example, I've set up a rule here under feeds. So the product name is adds new to everything. It then uses the product name, it uses the brand name, and it uses the colors. And so it's creating the product title for TradeMe based on attributes of the product that we hold. So you can see what those attributes are if you just hover on the question mark. And so that's changing all of the product titles here. So you can see here the product title that we've imported from your store is just Tomorrow is Today red printed scarf, but it's been optimized. It's got new, it's got the product name, it's got the may not be a brand on that, but it's got the color, and then the brand, yeah. So again, this one's got the colors as well. If you just wanted to edit an individual product title, you can just click in there and say red scarf, and that will change the product title. So that's not changing anything in your e-commerce store, but it will change the product name on TradeMe. And so you can create rules around that, or you can do an individual product. One other thing to mention as well, when we import product descriptions, excuse me, TradeMe doesn't support HTML in the product description. However, many Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento retailers obviously have HTML in their descriptions. So we remove the HTML from so this is the description as we've just imported it. However, we then remove the HTML. If you want to actually add anything to your product description and if you're selling products and shipping them to New Zealand from overseas, it's recommended that you add this to all of your product descriptions at the end. So you add in the detailed description, and then this item is sold by City Beach, an offshore business located in America, and may incur New Zealand customs duty or tax. Find out more and there's the URL. So if you want information on that, there is a link to the FAQs here. But yeah, it's recommended that if you are an international seller, make sure that you put that in, add that to every description on TradeMe. Okay, so moving on as well for international sellers. When we import your products, your store usually has a currency. So this store is in US dollars, and the products we've imported don't have tax on them. So we're not actually removing tax, but normally you'll see your price and then excluding GST or excluding tax underneath. To create the actual price for TradeMe, which if you're selling from overseas is generally not taxed in New Zealand, then we take the US dollar at $29, we remove any taxes, and then we convert the excluding tax price into New Zealand dollars. And we then use an exchange rate. So the exchange rate that we use, there's a default standard exchange rate. So you can click through and you can see what all those exchange rates are. We get them once a day from Yahoo. However, you can choose to set your exchange rate as well. So if you don't want foreign, exchange currencies, increasing or decreasing, you can actually set your custom exchange rate. So you can add a custom exchange rate from US dollars to New Zealand dollars. You can set a start date, and then you could do, $1 US equals $1 New Zealand dollar. So basically, if your price in US dollars is $29, the price in New Zealand will be $29. You also need to add a reverse exchange rate. So the reverse exchange rate is used for the price of the order. So when the order comes back into Trade Runner, it gets converted back into the currency that your store is set in. So it goes back into US dollars. Okay, so that's one way to create your custom exchange rates if you need to do that on your products. So just in terms of orders, unfortunately, I don't have any example orders in here. I'll get some for the next webinar. Trade Runner will check Trade Me every 10 minutes, and when the order is available to us, we then import it into Trade Runner and we send it on to Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento. And 99.9% of the time that works. Sometimes there is, on occasion, an order may not flow through to Shopify, BigCommerce, and it sort of just sits in Trade Runner. So there's a couple of reasons for that. Sometimes we do a lot of address validation, but in some cases, sometimes the address validation won't work for a specific address if it's new or if it's unknown to us. So in that case, often it's just a case of finding the order in Trade Runner and editing the address and then sending it, and then that should flow through. So you do get an email to warn you if we receive an order from Trade Me and we can't send it through to your e-commerce store, then we do send you an email, and you'll also get a big red alert just above your orders section here on your dashboard as well. Excuse me. The other thing to mention around orders is fixed price offers. So Trade Me automatically sends a fixed price offer to people that have been watching your listing for the buy now price. If that gets accepted, we import the order into Trade Runner. It may not be complete though, and so it gets put into what we call a quarantine state. And until you release the order from the quarantine, then it won't go through to your e-commerce store. So this is to stop you from sending things that you may not have received payment for, and to go through that. So again, you'll receive an email with instructions on how to manage that. We do have FAQs about that as well in the support section. Just a note on refunds. So you do need to refund. You need to cancel and refund the order in Trade Me. There's step-by-step instructions in the FAQ as well. And you'll then need to cancel the order in your e-commerce store. So cancellations and refunds are a manual process. Okay, shipping. So if we just have a quick look at shipping at the moment, you can have, for each product, you can have up to 7 different shipping options for a customer to choose. So for this retailer, if somebody is going to buy something for them, they've got national courier, standard $5, or I can also add an extra one. So maybe you want to do a rural courier and you want to charge $20 for that. So when the buyer is looking at buying your product, they then have the choice of these different shipping options to choose from. You can also do weight-based shipping, and as in the previous example where I created the product group for products that weigh over 2 kilograms, I can create a shipping policy for it here. So I might want to call it bulky items or bulky bulky delivery. Oops. And I'll use the products over 2 kilograms product group. Now, shipping on additional items. So you can select yes or no here. If you select yes, then the customer's charged for each item they purchase. If you select no, then they're only charged once. And then you can decide how much you want to charge for that bulky. So maybe you've got some really expensive shipping on 2 kilogram products. So you want to charge $50 for that. And then maybe you also want to offer a bulky express option, which gets there faster. And you can maybe charge $70 for that. Okay. Okay, so somebody just asked about bulky shipping, sorry, no calculated shipping through Australia Post. No, so I know that that's a feature on other marketplaces, but if you want to do weight-based shipping, the best option for you is to create multiple product groups of different weights and a set charge. Okay. Okay, so that's shipping. Also, there is the option to do combined shipping. So that's based on a threshold. So, for example, on the shopping cart in TradeMe. So if the customer buys over, say, $150, or they buy, say, two or more products from you, you can offer free shipping. But if you do want to do combined shipping, all you need to do is put a request through for us to set that up. You can't do it through here. So click on support, new support ticket, and then you can just ask for what you want. Yeah, so on that, if you do need help from support, first of all, it's a good idea to just have a quick look through the FAQs. So for example, refund, which I was talking about before, how do I refund a customer after purchase? It's got a lot of step-by-step FAQs here on exactly what you need to do. So it's often a good idea just to have a search here first and then create a new support ticket. Okay, so sorry, just another question about when an order is sent back to Magento, is it sent GST free for Australian businesses? Yes, it is. Yeah, so the amount that you get back is the New Zealand dollar amount converted into Australian dollars, and it doesn't include GST. Okay. It might be we've put in quite a few Magento use cases around pricing up into support recently. So if you have got questions about about Magento, tax settings, etc., it's a good idea just to have a look here, and but also we can add some more FAQs around the price that the orders come back in as well. That may not be there at the moment. Okay. Okay, so so shipping, that's what so just finally, we've only got another minute or so. There's just a few other things that are worth mentioning. One is a stop buffer. So if you go to settings, administration, where is it gone? Can't see. Stop buffer, here it is. So if you wanted to have a stock buffer of, say, 2, then if we get a quantity from your e-commerce store of 10, we would tell TradeMe that there are 8 available for purchase. So we take the stock buffer off the quantity that we send up to TradeMe. So if you wanted to put that stock buffer in, you can do that. As I mentioned before, fixed price offers, and these do generate quite a lot of sales for sellers, so we recommend that you do actually have have fixed price offers enabled. So you can turn fixed price offers off though. So if you want to turn them off, then you've got the switch here. And then also the other thing as well, again, you can offer Afterpay. Your account manager at TradeMe will be able to help you more around setting that up. But if you do want to offer Afterpay, it needs to be enabled in TradeRunner as well. So that kind of concludes the main things that I was going to cover today. Did anyone have any other questions? No? Okay, well, thanks everybody for your time. And we'll be running a few more webinars throughout November. But if you do have any problems or you've got questions, then please search our help and FAQs. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can raise a support ticket, and we'll get to that. Okay, thanks everybody.